Thank you for joining us for Pet Connect. I'm Tara Douglas. Before we get to our special guest and primarily talk about dogs for the next few minutes, I wanted to highlight a few cats that are available for adoption. This is Quattro. We discussed him last week, her last week, but I didn't have a picture of her. She is 7 months old and available at PetSense right now. She had a deformity in her left eye that she was born with, and she has had surgery, so she will have some impairment of her vision in that left eye for the rest of her life, but she is healthy and she is ready to go to a good home. And you can meet her this weekend because we are having another cat adoption event at PetSense from 9 a.m. to 2. And Cinder and Anise, these two kittens that are 3 months old, they're both females, will be there as well. We'll have some of our fosters from Feral Dogs of Avondale Mill bring some of their kittens out. And of course, Santa's going to be there. So what better day can you have than with Santa and kittens? So come on out. You can bring your pets out to get pictures made with Santa. You can come adopt a cat. You can come out just to have your children see Santa, but definitely get out and support PetSense and support Feral Dogs of Avondale Mill, our local nonprofit, this weekend, and let's find some homes for some cats. We have cats available at the shelter as well, and there are 60+ cats in foster. We also have some cats available for adoption at Cardin's Gift Cottage. So if you don't see a cat that you want to adopt this weekend when you go to PetSense, then I'm sure we have a cat available that will meet all of your needs and wants. Now, to get to our special guest, I wanted her to come on today because she helped walk dogs at the shelter this past weekend. And because of her efforts and all of the efforts of the volunteers that came out, we had a record day at the Sylacauga Animal Shelter. We were able to get 59 dogs out for walks on Saturday. So, Olivia Reams, thank you so much for coming on the show and for walking dogs too.
No problem. I actually really enjoyed it.
Everyone enjoys it when they come out. It's amazing to see all the smiles out there, but I was very appreciative of you because once you heard that we were walking dogs, you said immediately that you wanted to come, and Olivia also started checking around to see if she could get other students from Sylacauga High School to come out and help. So before we talk about that, though, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, well, I'm 18 years old. I am the daughter of Chad and Mandy Reams, which pretty well known throughout town. They both grew up here as well as their parents.
Yes.
Like both sides of my grandparents have lived here for a good amount of time. I go to Sylacauga High School, but I'm also dual enrolled at CAC, Central Alabama Community College, and the University of Alabama's Early College.
Okay.
As racking up my college hours before I actually have to go.
That's great. And it's so nice to have that opportunity to do that.
It is very nice. I'm also ambassador for the early college program for our high school through Alabama.
Okay.
I was chosen along with a fellow classmate, Jonas Schofield.
That's great.
Yeah, we try to endorse it and put it out there, but we have many options at the high school where people have to deal maybe with a cheaper or more efficient option that's on campus actually.
Okay.
I play tennis.
Yes, you do.
I played tennis for a long time. 12 years.
You were quite the tennis player.
I've been playing for 12 years.
Now, when does tennis season start again?
Very end of January, like January 30th.
Are you ready for it?
Absolutely not.
You better get ready for it.
I've not played in a bit. I've been very busy, but
you'll get there.
It's my senior year, so I am very excited, but it's going to be bittersweet.
Good. Now, with this being your senior year, tell us a little bit about what your plans are after school.
I plan to attend the University of Alabama. I plan to major in civil engineering and possibly with a minor in business.
Okay, that's great.
One thing I like about civil engineering is that it branches off a lot, so I can do structural and deal with like the integrity of building certain like bridges, dams, buildings, roads, and make sure because I know we have a roads problem in Sylacauga. So maybe I can help y'all out.
Maybe you can come back to Sylacauga after you graduate and
maybe I can help y'all's roads out. But I also like environmental. I've always been very fascinated by the environment and the beauty of our landscape and everything.
Great.
So I've always wanted to help out and make sure we keep that.
So there are a lot of different ways that you can branch out once you graduate.
Just based on one major, and it's pretty cool.
That's great. Now, we talked about you helping with the shelter and walking dogs, but you're no stranger to community service. So let's talk about some of the clubs that you are a member and some of the activities that you've done through those clubs.
Over the past 4 years at Sylacauga, I've been a part of many clubs, I will say that. But the ones that I've been with the most would probably be HOSA, which is known as Future Health Professionals now.
Okay.
It's a career tech club where I was trying to think what it was called, where it's like health based.
Okay.
So it's a lot with the medical field and everything because it was either that or business, and I've always been fascinated by the medical field, so
Okay.
I kind of really stuck with that. And then there's NHS, National Honor Society, and Junior Scholastic Society, which I have been a part of since my 10th grade year when I was chosen. And we do a lot of community service. I think that's the most base community service club we have. We do a lot with the animal shelter, actually. We do a food drive every spring where kids will bring sometimes beds, toys, dog food, cat food, anything really needed. And we bring a lot of food, mainly in the spring. And then we have one with Angel Tree where we adopt a few kids because we have so many members at the school. And we adopt a few kids and we bring them toys and gifts. And then we have the canned food drive with the Care House, which we actually did recently. The Care House's Facebook page has a picture of us, and you'll see me there bright and early. I was very tired, but we brought a lot of food. I think it was like filled up someone's trunk of their car.
Oh, that's
amazing. We had because we brought in it was us and S Club, but S Club's more of a smaller club. That's for students that have varsity, lettered with a varsity sport. So not many people are in that club.
That's great.
We did bring a lot.
Now, you were interested in dogs because you have your own dogs. So let's talk about your dogs before we discuss the wonderful dogs you walked at the shelter.
Well, over my life, I've had 6 dogs.
Okay. We've got some pictures popping up here of some of your dogs
and
their sweaters.
That's my mom's baby. That's Alexander. He's gorgeous. He's really precious. He's a golden doodle. I don't remember what kind. That's Indy. I'll talk a lot about him because we rehomed him. He had some behavioral issues and social problems where he had to get used to people and everything, but he's so precious. Once you really get used to a dog. And then there's Red. He's supposed to be my dog. He's a mess. I love him though. He's wild.
They all look like characters there.
Yes. You can tell Indy hates being dressed up, but they had to match. It's Christmas time. They had to be jolly. Oh, there's Red. He has the most gorgeous tail in my opinion. He does.
They're all beautiful dogs.
He looks like our first dog ever, Cringer. He's a retriever, and we say that he brought us Red.
Yes.
Because that's just what he are.
So with Indy, I thought that was a very interesting story because it's so important for people to understand that when you adopt a dog, that it's that should be your dog forever, and you should be able to work through the different kind of problems they have and be willing to train them. So Indy came to you as a rehoming kind of situation. So tell us a little bit about Indy's journey through becoming a good dog that he is now, even though he hates sweaters.
Well, as I said before, we've had 3 dogs before, and but by the time we had Indy, 2 of them were still alive, the 3 former ones we had. Cringer passed in 2018, I believe, March 2018. He was 13 when he passed, so that was a few years back. But we had Rex, who passed in 2021, and then Boozer, who passed recently this past summer. They all our dogs passed at age 13. They lived very long, happy lives. But we still had Rex and Boozer, so they were outside. But Indy was like an inside-outside situation where he'd go back and forth. And we've only had male dogs. So it was kind of like a alpha male situation, especially with all of them. And we still had Alexander. So we had 3 dogs already at home. And Indy came home with us August of 2020. He was only, he would have been 7 months old by then. So he was still a pretty young puppy. But he came from a home with, he was actually a therapy dog. And the child was autistic he was taking care of. And then he had a sibling, and then the 2 parents. And the reason Indy came with us because the father got diagnosed with cancer. And they couldn't care for him anymore, even though they wanted to keep Indy. They were so happy to have Indy. But it came to that point where they wanted to give him attention, but with the treatments and then they're also their child, it just became like they couldn't give him the home he deserved, which I feel like that case is actually understanding.
Very understandable.
Compared to many others. But he came home, and immediately it took some tension between him and Alexander, because Alexander's only been the inside dog forever. We had him since 2019, April 2019. We got him April 28th, 2019. And he was only a puppy, and that became my mom's baby immediately. My parents love Alexander to death. Just ask my dad, that they snuggle every night. Which, I mean, he probably would be like, don't say that. But like, my dad loves our dogs to death, and so does my mom. So we have always been a dog family.
So in spite of what Chad says, he does love these dogs.
They might sleep on his back, but he does love them. But Indy had some social issues where other people would come over and he would try to act territorial and like he was the big bad guy and bark and try to like, he's an Aussie Doodle, so he's half Australian Shepherd, half Poodle, so he has that herding in him.
Okay.
So he would love to like kind of herd them in, like circle them and like make sure to know he was the big guy. So it wasn't that bad when we first got him, but since COVID was happening, nobody came over. Nobody would really ever come over.
Okay.
So it came to the point where people would come over, like after lockdown and everything happened, he would lose his mind. He would like try to come after them, and we were like, that's not the Indy we know. That's not sweet Indy that happened. So we started training with, I don't remember the name, but it's out of Vinson.
Okay.
And she actually was very helpful with it, actually. She started with clicker training and like actually getting him to like start to listen better.
Good.
But it wasn't as firm as we needed because he actually thinks he's the alpha male.
Okay.
Like he was in charge. So then we had another iron grip canine come in, and he was more Indy. Indy had to learn at this point. So he actually did help us a lot.
That's
and
great.
Helped us with techniques. Like prong collars are actually very helpful. And they actually don't hurt the dog despite what people believe. They actually like the pressure on their necks from what I've read. So it like really helps him like settle down and understand.
Absolutely.
So when he gets like that on him, he's like, oh, I gotta be a good boy. Or like his leash on him, he's like, oh, someone's coming over. I have to be a good boy. And then I have a boyfriend, and when he came into the family, it took 1 to 2 times, and then Indy loves him. Indy will literally jump into his arms whenever he comes over and just like hug him.
That's great.
And then my brother has a girlfriend, and it took a couple tries just because they weren't around as often. And now he's the same way. He'll jump in their arms. So it takes him a second to get used to. He has to fill you out.
Yeah.
And then like he'll be the sweetest baby ever. He will crawl in your lap, give you kisses. He doesn't know how to lick properly or give kisses, so he nibble kisses where he like opens his mouth and licks at the same time. It's so funny,
And it's great that you worked with him and that we have so many different options around here for training.
Yeah, we
and
did.
that you found the right one for him so that he could be a part of your family.
a lot of them will actually come to your house to help because that's where his problem was. Like he could go to the groomers or go to the vet or go here or there, and he was fine. But as soon as you came to our house, it was a different story.
So he needed to have training where he had his issues.
Because I mean he'll bark a little bit out when he's out, but like, a lot of dogs do that. But his was mainly at home. So even when we brought Red home, a year ago on Christmas 2021. His story was actually very sad of why we got him, but we got him, and it's sad to me, not everybody else, but we got him, and it took Indy a second to get used to him because Red was a little puppy. Like Red was like this big. He was a little baby, and now he's the biggest dog we have. But Indy took actually a day or 2 to get used to him. Alexander still doesn't like him because Alexander's calm, but Red's just
Absolutely.
boom, 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 ball. Where's the ball? Like wants to play always, which a lot of times it's tiring for even us to play with him that long, but he still wants to keep going.
Because dogs have so much energy.
Especially puppies.
And you can see that with a lot of the shelter dogs when you go in because they've been in those kennels, and it can take some time to really get to know the shelter dogs. We've got some of the dogs you walked right here. So that's Traxton. He is about 4 to 5 years old. He is heartworm positive, but if you adopt him, he will have all of his shots. He's fixed, and there is help for the heartworm treatment. You didn't get to walk Leopold, but oh, there's Evelyn. You walked her.
Oh, I loved Evelyn.
So tell us a little bit about Evelyn.
Okay, Evelyn is very loving. She loves to play. She's very energetic. So you're going to have to play with her a little bit, get that energy out. But she's very loving. I didn't have a problem with her. I didn't have her try to be like forceful or anything, which a lot of people have that stigma that shelter dogs are like crazy and like going to come after you. But They're crazy with love.
These dogs are so sweet.
They're very sweet, and all she wanted to do was play, and she literally hugged me. Like, I'd like, come here, Evelyn, and she would hug me. She is so precious.
And there's Cole. You walked Cole too. He's one of my shelter favorites.
Yes,
he's such a cute little guy.
He was a little timid. He was a little shy, but he was really sweet, and he was very well behaved as well. He didn't.
He's good on a leash. There you are holding him on a leash while the puppies are getting socialized there.
He would like look at them and try to figure it out, but those puppies were also very scared.
And this dog is Andre. He's an older dog, and he's a big dog, but he is very easy to walk. He's he seems just a little bit tired. Yeah. So he doesn't pull at all. And there's an example of you with one of the puppies that needs to be socialized. So if you come out on a Saturday, of course you can walk dogs, or you can try to get these little puppies. And that puppy right there that Kim is walking is that other one's sibling. So they just need to be socialized. There's something for everyone. You can walk dogs, you can socialize the puppies, and there's Hawkeye. He's a beautiful, beautifully marked dog. But like you said, there you are with Evelyn. Yeah, these dogs are so sweet, and like you found with Indy, you do need to have some time for them to decompress when they come out of the kennel, because they will run, they will get very excited when they come out. And when you adopt one, you got to give them a little bit of time, and you got to be willing to work with them to bring them into your household. So it's we've got so many dogs available at the shelter, and I know you enjoyed coming out there, and I hope you come out again. And
plan to.
I hope we have more of the community come out, because we've had such a wonderful showing of people coming out to walk dogs, and it just makes those shelter dogs' day. And we are going to be back out there this Saturday. And even though it's going to be cold, just bundle up and come on out and help us. And please watch for announcements on Facebook about walking over the holidays, because I'm not sure when the shelter is going to be open. So we'll figure out what days we can get them out. But if you are interested in one of the shelter dogs, you can call the shelter. You can watch Feral Dogs of Avondale Mills Facebook page. And if you're interested in walking, you can message me on Facebook. You can call my office, Broadway Spinal Care, and let us know that you want to come walk dogs. But please, let's get out and support these dogs and have a good time at the same time. And come out and support the pet adoption event at PetSense this Saturday as well, 9 a.m. to 2. And Olivia, thank you so much for sharing your dog story with us and coming out to walk the dogs too. We appreciate everything that you've done.
I enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. And join us next week. We're going to have one of our fosters join us.